Before this video starts, I would like to say on January 9th, today, Saturday, I will be doing my 2-week live stream. So on this live stream, we talk about the NBA. In the chat, there won't be too many people, so I can individually respond to your questions and just my thoughts about the NBA. So there we're going to be talking about the NBA, communicating with other people, and it's just really fun. Every 2 weeks, we do a live stream on Saturday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. If you're living like Toronto, then it's 5 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, so hope to see you all there. I can't wait to see you there, and now enjoy the video. Welcome back to the channel where we mix things up, and today we're going to be ranking every NBA team tier list maker. So I hope you all enjoy this. And looking at our categories, we have title favorites, the things that everyone thinks to have the best shot at winning the championship. Title contenders, just a step below the title favorites, but still have a good shot in winning a championship. The dark horse, underrated team, for example, like the Miami Heat for last year. The in and out drive-through. They're going in the play-in tournament and out in the first round. Heading to the draft. These are teams that are just going to head to the draft in the lottery, hopefully to make their teams better. And Cade Cunningham, which I'm pretty sure we know which teams are going to be in that, but just people that want Cade Cunningham. So yeah, tell me how you feel about these tiers. And yeah, so before we get started, here on the Mix channel, we make constant NBA content. And I would really appreciate subscribe to the channel and also like the video because it only takes 1 second, makes a really big difference. If you're new and you comment down below, I subscribed, I will give you 1, a shout out in the next video, 2, I will heart your comment, and 3, I will reply to your comment. We'll also write down I subscribed, shout out, or something like that. So just try to say shout out and then or like S. And then also, this video might be the first of this tier list maker, so make sure to like if you want some more tier list makers and comment down below if you want it. So now, let's begin. And we first start off with the Atlanta Hawks. And I have the Atlanta Hawks in the in and out drive-thru. They're going to probably, before the season, in the first 5 games, I think they would have been dark horse contenders. They started off really good, really hot. Trae Young was on fire. They were playing like a team. But then they kind of cooled down, I guess, because John Collins apparently isn't happy with the way Trae Young is dealing with the team. It seems like Trae Young's been caught up with all the noise that he gets so many fouls, and he's empty stats, and he's been kind of slowing down. He was taking like 15 foul shots a game, but now he's only taking 3. I really like the acquisitions of Gallinari, Bogdanovic, drafting Onyeka Okongwu, and then just the natural development of people like DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Huerter, and Cam Reddish. But since they've kind of fallen off, they are in the in and out drive-thru and can probably be in the play-in tournament. Next up, we have the Brooklyn Nets, and I have them in the title favorites. I know that they kind of showed some glaring holes in their defense, offensive rebounding, but this team is so good. KD, Kyrie, sad to see Spencer go, but he can still be replaceable, though it won't be as good. Then Karis LeVert, a good scorer. Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan will provide good rim protection, though DeAndre Jordan is a bit overrated. Joe Harris, and they can still make a trade with someone like Taurean Prince while still having good scorers in Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot, Landry Shamet, and a decent defender, and Bruce Brown. So I like the team, and I think they're title favorites. Next up, we have the LA Clippers, and they're also title favorites. And I know that the Clippers just blew like a 22-point lead, and they're being clowned on, but it's still one game, and yes, they're going to have to bring it together. It's definitely fixable, though. I gotta admit, people were saying that last year, but I still think they're title favorites. You got Kawhi Leonard, who is a top 4 to 3 player in the league. Paul George he's been stepping up in the regular season, but he does this every year, and hopefully he doesn't become Pandemic P. Role players like Serge Ibaka, Nicholas Batum was a really good pickup, Patrick Beverley. Lou Williams has struggled in the season, but hopefully he can bring it back up. And then you got people like Luke Kennard and just other role players that will hopefully help him out, but I still think they're title favorites. Next up, the 76ers. Okay, I think they are in the title contenders, but I'm sorry. Seth Curry might have ruined everything. He, of course, got that positive test, and now I'm pretty sure they have like 6 players in a game, or maybe 5 because I heard Ben Simmons isn't playing, and that's gonna really hurt them because your whole team is out, and they were playing really well, but they were beating the bad teams. But you have to play the game of basketball, and you have to face what's in front of you, and you have to beat the bad teams. But they faced the Nets without Katie and Kyrie, and they struggled. So I still think they're in title contenders, and assuming that hopefully Joel Embiid, their whole team can come back, hopefully the chemistry isn't ruined by Seth's positive tests. I still really like the team. Daryl Morey made a lot of good moves. I still think they're in title contenders. Next, the Charlotte Hornets, and they are heading to the draft. The Charlotte Hornets, they beat the Pelicans, of course, though Pelicans aren't actually looking too good. They have Terry Rozier been stepping up. Devontae Graham has been struggling. I think he should come off the bench for LaMelo Ball, who has also been doing really good, averaging like 13, 5, and 7 before his almost triple-double. That's very impressive, while shooting the ball very impressively. Gordon Hayward had his career-high 44 a couple days ago. PJ Washington's a good, solid player. Bismack Biyombo, Cody Zeller will always run the 5. And then they are definitely still a very young team. And I think that if they add some more lottery luck and add someone like a Jalen Green, Brandon Boston Jr., if he's hopefully doing what we thought, I think that the Hornets can take the next step. Natural development of LaMelo will come, but this year they're heading to the draft. Next, the New York Knicks, and I think I have them heading to the draft. I don't think I can have them in the cake cutting tier because they've been looking good. Randall's been looking like an MVP. RJ Barrett's looking like a stud. Emmanuel Quickly, IQ is looking like a future good, impactful player. Julius Randle, MVP candidate. That's just a joke. The best team in New York. That's also a joke. But come on. Knicks fans finally get a win. And before the season starts, I would put them in the cake cutting tier, but they've proven to be respectable, and I think they're heading to the draft. Next, the Dallas Mavericks. Ooh, contenders or dark horse? It all matters if Kristaps Porzingis or Tingus Pingus stays healthy. If he's not healthy, the dark horse. But I think they are title contenders. Remember, I can always move these around. I think they're title contenders. Luka is going to be an MVP candidate. They have good shooters. Dorian Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway, Maxi Kleber, Porzingis, Dwight Powell. And just, this team is really good with shooters that fits around Luka. And even someone like Josh Richardson, who's going to provide more defense while also being able to hit a 3-point shot. And I really like what this Mavericks team is doing for the future and the now. And I think they're title contenders. Mainly because of Luka. Next, the Chicago Bulls. I think they're also heading to the draft. Because they just lost to the Lakers in a close game, though. Zach LaVine, Kobe White could score. Patrick Williamson looking like a good rookie who's been able to defend, hit a 3-point shot. Wendell Carter's been looking Then someone like Otto Porter, I think he might have got hurt. Sad to see. Lauren Markkanen in the protocols, but it's still a very talented team. They just don't mesh well. Next, the Golden State Warriors. They are going in. They just came back from 20, but I think they're in the in-and-out drive-through. I don't think they're dark horses yet, though. Okay. I don't think Stephen Curry is the problem. It's the team around Stephen Curry. Kelly Oubre, I think this is a true fact, but when Kelly Oubre is off the floor, they're a plus 50. Plus 50. Plus 50. You don't realize how insane that is. Andrew Wiggins hasn't stepping up, but he's still looking like Andrew Wiggins. I'm pretty impressed with Draymond doing it. His stats aren't the best, but he's been helping for the energy, defense, and playmaking, and that's what the Warriors team needs. But if Kelly Oubre is still going to average 7% from 3, breaking all of his shots, I still think they're in the in-and-out drive-through. Though they can make it. They're not. I think they're going to make it in the play-in tournament. Good chance they're going to be eliminated in the first round, but I can definitely see them, if the role players step up, make it to the second round. Next, the Cleveland Cavaliers are also going to be heading to the draft. They had a good start with Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, a very promising backcourt. Isaac Okoro is a good defender who can knock down a three-point shot, cut pretty well. Kevin Love still needs to be traded. Andre Drummond's been looking really good. And like people like Cedi Osman, Larry Nance, JaVale McGee, that's just a very deep team. And sure, they're probably not going to be in the playoffs. They're heading to the draft, though. That's the Denver Nuggets. I think they're also title contenders. Now, they're a bad team. Now, they're a good team with a bad record. So remember, this is all in my opinion. So this is just my opinion. Every person has a different opinion. And I like this Nuggets team with Jeremy Grant and Torrey Craig. I think teams like the Nuggets, the Wizards, and the Timberwolves have not put any emphasis on defense. I've been going all in on offense, and they've all been struggling. I think that more teams are going to have to rely on defense more. And the Nuggets, they're a really good team. Jokic and Jamal Murray, one of the best duos in the league. Probably like top 7. And then Paul Millsap, Michael Porter Jr., Will Barton, good scorers. Gary Harris is a decent defender who has taken a step back. And they definitely need to change some stuff on the defensive end. I really want them to get someone like a PJ Tucker, just a solid role player. But I still think they're going to need some moves, mainly on the defensive side of the ball. Next, the Detroit Pistons will be the first person to join the Cade Cunningham tier. Cade Cunningham is the best prospect in the 2021 NBA draft. He's going first. A 6'8" point guard who can basically do everything. And the Pistons need that. They drafted Killian Hayes, but that's not stopping you from drafting Cade Cunningham, especially because he got hurt and isn't looking the best. He is young, though, and he might be able to play the 2 because he is 6'5". And they're a bad team. Everyone knows they're tanking. And if they can get Cade Cunningham, they're in a bright future. Next, the Houston Rockets. Okay. This is a tough one. So I am assuming that James Harden is playing like he wants to play. John Wall is looking like his former self. Christian Wood is looking like a most improved candidate. PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, LaMarcus Cousins are all good role players. Okay. I think I have to put them in the dark horse here because it's still a really good team when James Harden is here. They have Christian Wood is looking like one of the best deals in free agency, and the Rockets made the right move. James Harden's still an electrifying player. Put up 44 at 17 while still being overweight. John Wall is looking like his former self. And it's just going to be really interesting, but I still think they're dark horse contender. We next have the Toronto Raptors. And I know we have a lot of Toronto fans in the community, but they're also in the In-N-Out drive-thru. I think they're in the same tier as the Hawks. And I think that the Tampa Bay Raptors are not the Toronto Raptors. We can all admit that. Toronto is an atmosphere that they thrive in, and they have not been thriving in Tampa Bay. Kyle Lowry has been looking okay. Freddie's been stepping up. Pascal hasn't been looking too good. OG hasn't been looking too good. Chris Boucher's been looking like a good signing. But outside of those guys, they aren't doing much, and they have the same amount of wins as the Detroit Pistons. That's crazy. And I still believe in them. I don't think they're heading the draft. They're not on the same tier as the Knicks, the Wizards, the Bulls, and the Cavs. But they're still in the In-N-Out drive-thru. Next, the Indiana Pacers. And I personally think that they are dark horse in the Eastern Conference. You might be saying, whoa. Why are they over the Warriors? Because they're in a different conference. And I think everyone will have the Pacers over the Raptors. I can see the Hawks over the Pacers. But I think the Pacers are one of the most underrated teams in the league every year. Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon, both looking like all-stars. Victor Oladipo looking like his prime self. TJ Warren has been out here struggling. Miles Turner is looking like a defensive beast. And they're just better with Miles Turner on the floor. Doug McDermott, and they're pretty deep. And I think they're in dark horse, mainly because they're in the Eastern Conference. Next, Memphis Grizzlies, they're also heading to the draft. I know they were like the 9th seed last year, But with Ja and Jaren, they're not doing nothing. They've been having some very competitive games. They beat the Nets, but they can't do anything far without Ja and Jaren. I'm sorry, but they can't do anything with them, and I think they're heading to the draft. Next, the Orlando Magic. They're also heading to the draft. Oh, maybe I can. Okay, no. With Markel out, I don't think they're gonna be in the play-in tournament. They're just not good enough with just not enough talent. With Markel out, Markel was their leader, their point guard who just led the offense, and without that, they aren't the same. Cole Anthony can't do the same, especially when he's a rookie. Hopefully, he can develop more as a starter. Nikola Vucevic has been looking good. Aaron Gordon can hopefully step up more. Prayers up to the Magic team. It's so sad to see one team have two ACL tears. That's just really sad. Next up, the Miami Heat. The Heat have been struggling. I think we can all admit that. Now, where would we put them? I think I have to put them in the title contenders. I think that they can definitely come back with Tyler Hero hopefully stepping up. Jimmy stepping up. He's been looking good in his last couple of games. Bam has been even better. Duncan Robinson has been shooting lights out. Goran Dragic has been looking good. And it was definitely a big loss losing Jay Crowder. But Avery Bradley is a decent perimeter defender who has been shooting very efficiently. But they definitely need to come back to their championship forms. But I do think they're better in the playoffs than the regular season. Then the Milwaukee Bucks, I think I gotta have them in the title favorites. They just lost to the Jazz by a lot, and that was kind of sad, but Mike Budenholzer needs to change stuff. Mike Budenholzer is a coach that has a plan that mostly works, but against other greater coaches, he doesn't adapt. And the great coaches adapt. And that's not what Mike Budenholzer has been doing. And I think they need to fire him because they've just been struggling. He isn't a playoff coach. And with Giannis wanting, of course, a championship, they need a playoff coach. Next, the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, this is a tough one. I'm for now gonna put them in the in-and-out drive-through, though they have been struggling. JJ Redick had a good night. Brandon Ingram, it's going to be an all-star. Zion, without the minute restriction, been looking amazing. And I can definitely see them heading to the draft. I would definitely have the Warriors over them, but it matters. But I think I'm going to have them in the in-and-out draft for now. Next, the Thunder will also be in the cake cutting now. They have all these draft picks rebuilding. They're 4-4 actually, but we all know they're going for Cade. Next, the Phoenix Suns. Okay. They're the second seed in the West. And I think I have to have them in the title contenders. I can definitely put them down to the dark horse, but they're better than the Rockets. And I'm very impressed with this team has done. Chris Paul and Devin Booker have had stats down years, but they're winning. And that's all what Devin Booker wants. DeAndre Ayton has been looking just fine. I thought he would take another step. Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, always consistent 3-and-D players. And they're 11-man deep. And that's very impressive. And I don't know why they took Jalen Smith over Tyrese Halliburton. That made no sense. Well, they are the Suns, so I guess that made sense. Next, the Portland Trailblazers. They're also going to be in the in-and-out drive-through. They have been struggling too. It's their defense. I thought adding Rocco, Derrick Jones Jr., those players would help them out on the defense side of the ball, but they're still 25th. And that's not good. So it's very interesting how that's going to go. Hopefully they can bring it up. They always have Dame CJ. Nurkic has been struggling, but I definitely believe in this Blazers team still. And I can definitely put them in the dark horse soon. I'll see about that if I change it. Next, the Sacramento Kings were also going to be heading to the draft, along with the San Antonio Spurs and Minnesota Timberwolves. And I'm sorry, but it's kind of sad to see. Okay, first talk about the Kings. Marvin Bagley's asking for a trade. They've been looking okay. Tyrese's been looking really good, but they're not making the playoffs, and I think they're going to head to the draft. Minnesota Timberwolves, they have, with Cat injured, they've been doing bad. Okay, like I said, they have no emphasis on defense, but they've also had nothing on offense. And if you have no offense and defense, that's an automatic L. So that's kind of sad. Jared Culver's not been stepping up. Edwards been looking pretty good. Now, the Spurs, they need to trade DeMar and LaMarcus. They need to go into that rebuild mode. I really like DeJounte, Lonnie Walker, Devin Vassell, and Keldon Johnson, but they need that big or that forward. Next, the Utah Jazz are dark horse contenders. The Jazz are always going to be a good team. Donovan Mitchell is always a good player. Rudy Gobert hasn't been looking good since Shaq insulted him, but he's still an All-NBA All-Star player. Boyan has been struggling, but hopefully he can step it up. Mike Conley's been looking like vintage Mike Conley again. Oh, not really, but just Mike Conley, a good Mike Conley. And I still think they're dark horse contenders. Lakers, title favorites, so the title favorites. Okay, as a Lakers fan, the Lakers need a change a lot. Their defense has been awful. They haven't just been playing energy. And I personally don't like the Marc Gasol signing anymore. I think they should have kept Dwight because they need that athletic big can protect the paint. And Mark isn't really cutting that. Then I think they also need to bench Dennis Schroeder because, well, okay, sure, he can shoot, but his shooting has been off. And every time Dennis Schroeder is playmaking, LeBron is doing it better. I think we can all admit that. No slack on Schroeder, but that's just the greatness of LeBron. Next, the Boston Celtics are also title contenders. It's so sad to see. I was so sad to see Jason Tatum out 10 to 12 days with his protocol. I think the Celtics are going to struggle. I think Kemba is coming back, so that's always a bright side. But that's always sweet to see your All-NBA player go down with the pandemic stuff. That's really sad. Next, the Washington Wizards. This is tough to say. I personally thought they were in and out drive-through, but they're heading to the draft. I'm sorry, this team is not good anymore. Bradley Beal has been carrying. Russell Westbrook has been putting up the stats, but not efficiently. But I can't put them in the in and out drive-through. I think they're gonna head to the draft. So I'm gonna review this list to see will I change anything. Okay, so I'm actually gonna demote the Pelicans down to heading to the draft. Mainly because talk about the in and out drive-through. You're going in the play-in tournament, but out in the playoffs. And in the play-in tournament, only 2 teams came out. And so I think it's just going to be those teams. Now, I don't think these 2 might not be eliminated in the first round, though, because they can definitely put up a fight. I think they're going to be the 7th and 8th seeds. So yeah, this is going to be my list. Comment down below your thoughts. This is probably going to be a bit controversial. This is all my thoughts. Remember, this is all my opinions. I'm probably going to... Your favorite team, you're probably going to put them in the title favorites because they're your favorite team. So yeah, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to come to the live stream at 2 p.m. Pacific time today, Saturday, January 9th. Can't wait to see you all, guys, and I'll see you all next time.